Hello, and welcome to Stretching the Word. I'm your host, Sister Valerie, and not today, devil, just not this year. A lot of times we see people, whether they're young or old, and they may be misbehaving, and we may say, why they don't obey? Why they just don't obey? Well, it's not that simple. A lot of people don't know what obey means. To yield, to follow directions, So it's not that simple. And then a lot of people don't know what to obey. So it's not that simple to some people. If you only know wrong, you can only do wrong. If you've only been taught wrong, then that's the only thing you know to follow. So when we see people misbehaving and doing the wrong thing, and we, well, why don't they obey? Why don't they just do it right? Let's not be so harsh and so judgmental, because unfortunately, they may just be doing all that they know to do. They may not know the right thing to do. Just because we've been fortunate enough to been taught and instructed in good and the right things to do, unfortunately, there are some who have not, whether it's naturally or spiritually. Sometimes we look at the children. Well, let me speak for myself. Sometimes I look at children and I be like, ooh, Lord, how come they just can't obey? They doing what they know to do, unfortunately, because they have not been taught to do good. They just raising themselves and doing what they see other people do, which is the wrong thing. Same way in the spirit realm. Witnessing is good, but I sort of kind of have a problem, because they just meet you on the corner and, do you know you're going to heaven, and repeat after me, and, and then that's all some people do. But yet, you have not been taught. You don't know what to do. You just know that, yeah, I repeated after him, so now I'm going to heaven. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Let's go to Romans 10, and we're going to start at verse number 14. Romans 10 and 14, the NIV version. It says, and how can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? See, first we have to spread the gospel. We have to let people know who Jesus is, and not just he's the Son of God. You can't just leave it there. You have to go into detail so people will understand who Jesus really is and what he's all about and his purpose. And it says, and how can they hear without someone preaching to them? Once again, I'm reading the NIV version. Now notice it says, and how can they hear without someone preaching to them? It didn't necessarily say the preacher. We sit back and we say, oh, well, I'm not a preacher. Let somebody else. I'm not a minister. That's not what it says. It says without someone preaching to them. The Bible also tells us to go out into the world. It didn't say, oh, all you ministers, all you preachers, all those, with quote unquote a title. But it says, and how can they hear without someone preaching to them? So they have to be taught. They have to know, ABCs. Just like, in the natural, you learn ABCs. There are ABCs in the spirit realm. There are classes in the spirit realm. There are steps in the spirit realm. And then it says, and how can anyone preach unless they are sent? Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Yes, you have to study to know for yourself. It's good, and the word just said, you have to have someone to teach you, but you also have to study for yourself, because Some people will teach you the wrong thing, even under the gospel, okay? But it's their gospel, or, they didn't put their spin on it. The devil will put his spin on the word of God, as we found out in Genesis. The devil spent that. But we have to know what to obey.